One of the most exciting things that I did with my life was to become a monk. It was really fun. It was an adventure. Um, I mean, most people, their first reaction is, "Oh my God, you gave up sex." But that really was not on the forefront of my mind at all. I mean, I didn't have luck romantically. I was a very awkward boy, and that certainly accounted for it. And it also accounted for why I was happy to put it on one side and be free of it. But apart from that, the actual idea of studying Tibetan, learning the Buddha Dharma, um, working closely with these incredible men, these Tibetan lamas, who seemed so comfortable in their skin, even though they were basically dirt poor refugees. They'd lost everything. They'd lost their whole culture, basically. But anyway, what this all amounted to was that they took me and a lot of other young Westerners under their wing, and they started trying to fill us up with wisdom. Okay, so I trained in Switzerland. It was a sort of an exclusive, an elite place, and we were sort of seen as a bunch of snobs, really, because we were one of the few groups to study in Tibetan and to study the traditional form of Tibetan training. So I learned to understand that there are four main schools of Buddhist thought, the highest of which are the Prasangikas. But the Prasangikas, the Madhyamikas. But among the Madhyamikas, there are different sorts. You have the Prasangika Madhyamikas and you have the Sautrantika Madhyamikas, of which the Prasangikas are more important. And among the Prasangikas, you also have two more subdivisions. The Svatantrika, anyway, I'm not even going to go on. All this is in order to define and to be able to defend in debate a description of reality, truth, which of course is just a bunch of words, isn't it? And this was easily described by my teachers as wisdom. Not that there's a real distinction in Tibetan language between wisdom and intelligence, or even wisdom and knowledge. It's not a fine line. It's not quite as sharp as we have, and it's a very useful distinction. Because wisdom is not knowledge. It's a form of knowledge, but it's not equivalent to any knowledge. It's like people say, well, you know, I'm getting on now. I should be getting wiser, shouldn't I? Not necessarily. Wisdom comes when you work at it. And what wisdom is not just information. There may be information in it. Wisdom is not something that you can get from somebody else. Wisdom is something that grows in you, that occurs in you, if you like. And what we're doing here in all this meditation and mindfulness is trying to sort of create, we're trying to prepare the bed, as it were, the flower bed, the planting bed. We're just trying to prepare ourselves so that wisdom can come. And you never know when it's going to come, in what moment. You're in the middle of a conversation. You just see something. You see something about the other person, or you see something about yourself. You recognize, you make a connection with reality, with cause and effect, especially with cause and effect. When we start to see the way that life plays out and the way that our experiences are connected to our expectations and to our general state of mind and our emotional state of mind, as we begin to see this actually happening, then the wisdom grows. And that may come out as a statement of some sort, some clever or brilliant one-liner, or it may be completely something inexplicable to you, and yet somehow in your heart, you know, you get it. You can't explain it. You can't put it into words, but it's there. And you don't have to worry about it. And you don't have to get excited about it if you can describe it or if you can't describe it, which is better. That's not what it's about. Wisdom is simply about seeing the way things are. And, you know, there's a part of us which thinks, well, that should be obvious, isn't it? I mean, the way things are, I just open my eyes and look, and that's the way things are. But it's not. As we know, we color our perceptions. We put a spin on things. And so it takes the effort, it takes a special effort to let go of that spin. And that's what we're doing by breathing, by staying in the moment, by just letting things be. We're preparing the ground, getting the flower bed ready so that wisdom can grow. But we're not planting any seeds. But as such, we don't know where it's going to come from. So there's this sense of meticulous planning and care, and at the same time, complete abandonment. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea what seed's going to grow. We'll see. But at the same time, I'm making that effort to prepare things, to get everything ready, to allow my mind to be fallow so that things can grow, and so that when they do, I can see them. I can see the wisdom which occurs naturally to all of us every day if we simply give it time. Now, we don't just want to be wise guys, just coming up with good one-liners. We want to know where we're putting our attention. There is a method in this. As you know, I mean, I'm teaching really, strictly speaking, I'm teaching from the point of view of Buddha Dharma, which is a path which is supposed to get you somewhere, deliver you to a state of peace and clarity. And wisdom is one of two wings which are required for that. The other wing being compassion and care. So you need a sharp mind, but you also need a peaceful mind. We cultivate them together simply by sitting. And most importantly, by allowing ourselves to let go of ideas and knowledge. Not because they're useless, but because they simply get in the way of real insight. Insight happens from experience, direct experience, not from ideas and theories and conversation. We get clever ideas from conversation, and sometimes we translate that back into experience. But ultimately, it's your immediate, moment by moment experience, your ability to stay with things as they are without projecting onto them, without adding your expectations and judgments. That's what produces the sorts of insight which enables us to go through life with so much less struggle, which enables us to accept and be. And that's what wisdom is for. It's not to win these gigantic debating contests and develop a brilliant, fine, subtle description of what reality is really like. You know, in the end, that doesn't really matter. What matters is what's in your heart and how it feels and how you feel and how you are now. Because that determines how you're going to be in the next moment and in the moment after that. So what I'm trying to do here today is to bring this idea of wisdom really to the front of your mind, and at the same time to keep it really simple, because it is. The sort of wisdom, the sort of insight we're looking for is not complicated or hard to piece together. If it's hard, it's because we have trouble clearing all the clutter and allowing ourselves to see. But once you've done that, it's not hard at all. Couldn't be simpler. So let's get used to that.